Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Unstuck series with myself, Sarah Archer. If you haven't joined me before, I am a career and leadership coach, and I work with female leaders to create the kind of success that's right for them without selling out or burning out. And I do that through either helping them find that next leadership role or by actually having more influence, impact, and confidence in the leadership role that they currently have. And I created the Get Unstuck series because, having been a female leader myself, I know that it's really hard to create the space to think about your career development, your career, your personal development, your leadership development, because the day jobs are just so big and so packed. It's really challenging to find that time. So I thought I'll do a quick 15-minute session on a Wednesday. It was weekly, it's now going to be every other week, on various topics to help you just kind of spark some thoughts, get some ideas, get some practical support for your leadership journey. And so all of the lives I've done previously, you can find them on my profile in the events section. And also I now have a podcast, Unstuck and Unstoppable, where you can also catch those career and leadership topics, but obviously in a different format. And I'll put a link to that in the comments later. So if you're here with me live, please do say hello. Do let me know you're here. If you've got questions or comments today, please do pop them into the chat and I will answer them as we're going along, or I'll come back and answer them at the end of the session. Your comments could help somebody else as well. If you've got experience to share, that's always really useful. The session's around 50 minutes, as I said, and they're always practical and hopefully inspirational, but there's definitely always something you can take away with you to put into practice straight away. So today we're talking about why now is the right time for you to take a leap in your leadership career. And I wanted to talk about this today because it often comes up with clients that I'm working with about when is the right time to make that next move. And, you know, when we're contemplating a change of some sort or a move in our careers, we can invent lots of reasons why it's not the right time to act now. But we know deep down, in reality, there is no perfect time to take these decisions. And what we're doing is just putting off that decision to go. But what we know is that, you know, it can take around 6 months to find your next leadership role. So taking charge of your career now, making some decisions about what you want, doing that kind of foundational work will mean that you'll be well positioned for when the right role appears, or you find the right thing that you want to move to, because it's not about just making any move, it is about making the right move for you, and obviously having that agency by knowing 2025 is the year I'm going to make that change. It's going to just set you up for being more successful in achieving it. But I also know there are some legitimate things that hold us back from making those kind of moves. From the clients that I've worked with, I see this all the time. And those things can be mindset, confidence issues. They can also be practical things around the job search piece. So I know that sometimes it can be around confidence. So if that next role is going to mean maybe doing more strategy, that can make you feel, gosh, am I that visionary person? Can I do that strategic piece? If it's about having more influence, impact, it could be worried about, oh gosh, I'm going to have to start again and build those relationships that enable me to have that influence. I know I can do it in my current role, but can I do it in a different setting? So those kind of confidence wobbles can kick in. Sometimes it can be fear of starting a new role and just having to kind of establish yourself, maybe feeling like you might have to prove yourself in some way. It can feel quite daunting. Sometimes you can be worried about burnout. If I take on a bigger role, am I going to be able to cope, to navigate that successfully? Or it could be around that not being completely clear about what it is you want. And I see that a lot with clients, that kind of clarity. What is the right thing for me next in my career? And that can sometimes feel paralyzing because maybe there's too much choice, or you just really don't know what is going to excite you. And then the practical things around time for job search. We know job searching can sometimes feel like a full-time job in itself. So you might be feeling, how am I going to fit job searching into my life right now? And then there's some of the things within job search, so writing CV, sorting out your LinkedIn profile, doing the whole networking piece can really feel quite daunting and quite blocking as well. The number of people I've worked with who the whole CV thing just feels like it's too much to try and get all of my experience crafted into a CV that sells me and creates impact in terms of my applications. So all of those things legitimately can hold you back. Plus, you might feel loyalty to your organisation, to your team, to your boss. I can't leave them right now. There's too much going on. But ultimately, it is about doing the right thing for you in your career. But it's worth acknowledging that these feelings are really valid, that they're really common, and that actually having them just means that you can understand some of the challenges for yourself and put things in place to navigate those challenges rather than letting them paralyze you. So why now? Why am I saying now is a good time? Well, as I said earlier, there is no right time. You've got to decide at some point, I'm going to make this move. So why not now? But the caveat to that is obviously you need to do the scanning for your industry, for your market, to really understand what is going on there. Is it buoyant? Is it contracting? Are there redundancies throughout the industry? Just really understanding, is it going to be the right time for me? It doesn't mean if you feel that the industry isn't great at the moment, it doesn't mean you can't do this preparatory work for when it is going to be the right time. It's also, being realistic about what's possible in the industry. But obviously what I would say to you is that, you don't want to have regrets. You don't want to be sitting in the same position in a year, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, thinking, gosh, I wish 2025 I had taken that leap. You just don't want those regrets. And also, I would say, is that the world needs authentic leadership. And if you are an intentional, compassionate, collaborative leader, then, that is needed. There is demand for that because it delivers high performance, it delivers results. And if you're in a job now where maybe you're a bit bored or you're not stretched or you're not enjoying it, then you're not going to be expressing that leadership style, and you're going to be depriving the world of your kind of leadership. So, I think having confidence that actually your leadership style is in demand and that you can make a difference in that next role and have more impact and more influence. Plus, we are in February, we're about to head into spring. Hopefully it'll be soon because it's far too cold for my liking at the moment. And what we can do is we can harness the energy of spring. So March, April, May, June, the job market typically tends to be more buoyant in those months, and we can harness that energy as we're coming out of winter to put into our job search. Plus, why now? You might recognize that you have a cycle. There's a pattern to your jobs. Mine was we tend to move every 5 to 7 years in jobs. Yours might be less than that. It might be 2 to 3 years, but you might recognize that you're coming to the end of your cycle with your current organization. And if that's the case, then obviously now is a good time to be thinking about getting ready to make that move. So what I'm going to just talk you through now are 6 steps to help you do that preparatory work to get ready to move. And obviously, I've been a coach now, I was counting up, I've been a coach for over 20 years now, which is crazy. And before that, I had 12 years in senior leadership roles. So these steps are based on my experiences as a leader myself, but also working with my clients in terms of what you need to be thinking about to make a good move, the one that's right for you. And the first step is actually to press pause and not take any action apart from to do some reflection, because the clarity piece is really important. And so just to reflect on what it is you really want for that next role. What are the elements of that next role that you really want? And are you aligning your why, so why you do what you do, and your values to that role? Is there something missing in your current role that you want to have in the next role. So really understanding what you want, doing that kind of inner work about, what is right for you, what are the elements that stretch you, excite you, etc., and thinking about aligning it with your why and your values. Step 2 then is thinking about what kind of leap excites you, because we want to feel excited by what we do. We want to feel excited by our job. And so thinking about, is it something different? Actually, am I really talking about making a change in my career, some kind of career change, because I'm ready to do something different? I've done everything I want to in my current career. And I certainly felt like that with my HR career. I'd done everything I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to do something different. So that could be one option for your leap. It could be about doing something more senior. Are you ready for that head of role, director role, C-suite role, leading an organization role? Is it actually about stepping up into that next level role? Or is it actually about the same, but having more challenge or a different kind of challenge? So maybe you don't want to move up. Maybe you're happy at the level that you are, but you want to do something more within that. And that could be around change of organization, could be about staying in your current organization, but having more challenge, more opportunity. Particularly if you're in the C-suite role, it might not be around moving up, it might be around change of dynamic in the organization or type of organization. So that's step 2. Step 3 is thinking about what have you learned about yourself from your previous job searching experiences or when you've changed roles before. So what have you learned? So again, doing a reflective piece, because understanding what works best for you will help you decide where to focus your energy. So if you know you've typically found your jobs through your network, or typically from working with a recruiter that you've had a really good relationship with, then that will give you information about where you want to channel your energy. Because remember, we said job searching can feel quite a big commitment in terms of time and headspace. It doesn't mean that you should only put your eggs in one basket. You do still want to be looking at the other 5 elements of job searching, but it's about where you want to put your energy to generate most success and what you can start doing now to lay foundations around that. The other part of that, understanding what you've learned about yourself with job searching, is to think about, what do you dread? So what are the parts of job searching that you really don't like? Please don't say all of it. There are going to be elements that really you find more difficult. And I have worked with clients who have found the whole interview part of job searching really, really challenging. And even though they're very confident in their roles, they're used to delivering presentations, talking about themselves and what they do, they find the whole interview setting not a setting that they feel they can perform in. So it's understanding what are the kind of areas that are your weakness that you can then put things in place to manage more successfully. So step 4 is then thinking about what makes you stand out. So what is your kind of personal leadership brand? How can you use your emotional intelligence, your cultural intelligence to help you stand out so that you have a very coherent brand message that you're communicating through all aspects of your job search and your visibility that will help position you for that next role. And part of that is also thinking about where you are on the leadership journey. So are you still very much kind of operational deliverer, where you are really, really great at delivering high performance and excellent results, but you want to move into that more influential role where you're actually influencing others to deliver that high performance and those results, because that's going to be an identity shift for you, and you're going to have to think about that in your job search. Or if you're already in that kind of influencing role, then is it going to be about different stakeholders, bigger teams that you're going to have to influence and motivate, and thinking about how you're going to communicate that as part of your personal branding. Step 5 then is thinking about type of organisation. So that can be quite granular in terms of, what organisations or industries excite you, who's on your top 5 list of employers to work for. But it's also thinking about organisational maturity as well, because different leadership styles, different leadership types are needed for different challenges in the organisation. You've got startup, scale up, mature, turnaround, growth. So thinking about what you most enjoy as a leader will also help you think about the type of leadership challenge that's going to be a good match for you. So if you're somebody who likes to come in and turn around failing teams, failing departments, failing organizations, and get them high performing, then if you are applying for a job that's in a very mature, stable organization that doesn't require any kind of turnaround, it might not be a great fit for you. So it is definitely thinking about what your style is and also what kind of organizational challenge or maturity is going to work best for you. And then our final step, step 6, is thinking about what do you need. So what do you need to be at your best during the job search phase? And that might be around specific help around the practical parts of job searching. It might be practical help at home to give you space to think about and do the job search piece. It could be around exposure, experience, or knowledge you want to get more of in your current role to help position you for those other roles. But it's also, just thinking about what do I need, because you don't have to go it alone. There's lots of great resources out there that can support you. Obviously, as a coach, I work with lots of people around the whole career advancement piece. So there's lots of support you can get from professional mentors, coaches, etc., to help you on this. So don't feel like you've got to do it alone. Make it easy, delegate where you can, and put into place things that are going to support you to do it well. So just to recap on the 6 steps. So step 1 is press pause and reflect about what you really want and connect with your why and your values. Step 2 is think about what kind of leap excites you. Step 3 is think about what you've learned about the job search process previously and how you can use that to focus your time and energy. Step 4 is thinking about what makes you stand out. Step 5 is what type of organisation is going to be right for you, what type of leadership is going to be right for you. And step 6 is thinking about what do you need. So I hope you feel inspired to think 2025 is going to be my year. I am going to make that leap, that change, that move this year, and get the leadership role that you really want, that's going to excite you and stretch you, challenge you, motivate you. And of course, if you want any help at all on this journey, then please do get in touch. We can have an initial discussion just to talk about what you need and how coaching can give you that support to fast track your leadership job search and get the right role for you. So I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another leadership and career topic. Have a great week, couple of weeks, and I will see you back here then.